Hey y'all, welcome back to Nini's Texas Kitchen. Today we're gonna make a nice chilled fruity dessert called dream pie. And what you're gonna need for that is, first of all, you're gonna need to have 2 baked pie shells. And so I have already made the pie crusts and I pre-baked them, and then you see in the bottom I have put some sliced bananas. And these bananas are not bad, they just look sad because they were frozen bananas that I thawed out and then I dried them and let them sit in there. But if you have fresh bananas, use those. I just didn't have any fresh bananas, so I just used what I had. Now, I have another video that shows you how to make the pie crusts. If you don't know how, or if you want to buy the pre-made ones, go ahead. It doesn't matter. I like to make my own. But I can always try to put a link in the comments down below the video for you to go find that video to see how to make the pie crusts. For the actual filling of the pie, what you're going to need is a 15-ounce can of the pitted cherries in water and a 20-ounce can of crushed pineapple with the juice. You're going to need a 3-ounce package of strawberry jello. You need 1 teaspoon of salt. You need 1/4 of a teaspoon of flour and 1.5 cups of sugar. So what you do is first put your sugar and your salt, which is 1 teaspoon, your 1/4 cup of flour into your pan, and then just kind of mix that together. Good. Now don't forget, when you do your pie crusts, that you pre-bake them. So they need to be baked. So now I'm going to add, first I'll add the cherries in with the juice. You want to include the juice. Start stirring that up. Next we're going to add in our crushed pineapple with the juice. You want to keep the juice. Stir that all together. So now I'm going to turn on the heat, just like over a medium heat, and I'm going to heat this until it starts to get thickened and bubbly. And it'll take probably 5-10 minutes, something like that. And then once it's to that, I'll turn off the heat and then I'll add my jello and mix that in really good. And then we'll set it aside to cool. So I'm going to cook this on the stove for a few minutes and then I'll show you what it looks like shortly. Okay, our mixture has gotten a lot thicker and it's bubbly. You can see it bubbling around the pot. It's a lot thicker than it was, and the jello will help it thicken up even more. So now I'm going to turn it off from the heat, and now I'm going to add in the jello. I guess if you would rather have cherry jello or watermelon jello or something, I guess you could, but we like the strawberry. Gives it a nice color, and it'll also help it to sit whenever it's in the refrigerator chilling down. So it's off, the heat is off. I've added in my jello, and as you can see, it's going to be a nice bright red color. You see the cherries and your little pineapple pieces in there. So now I'm just going to set it over to the side for a few minutes. It needs to cool down a little bit. And once it has cooled down slightly where all the steam isn't coming off of it, then we're going to pour it into our pie crust. So we'll be back in a couple minutes and show you that part. All right, y'all, so our filling is still cooling down a little bit. It's almost cool enough where we can put it into our pies. So while we're waiting on that, we're going to go ahead and make our whipping cream. If you would rather do Cool Whip on the top, you can. We just like whipping cream better. So I have 1.5 cups of cold, heavy cream here. And I'm just going to let the mixer whip it for me. You just want to be careful not to over whip it. And then once it starts to fluff up, I'll start adding the sugar to it so the sugar can dissolve. Don't turn your mixer on too high of a speed too fast. Work your way up there so it doesn't go and splatter out whipping cream everywhere at you. It doesn't take very long, but you kind of want to watch it because you don't want your whipping cream can, basically if you whip it too long, it'll curdle and turn into the pre-form of butter that you have before you squeeze all the liquid out. And so you don't want to do that. And I've just slowly whipped it up, and it'll probably take 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It doesn't take long. As you can see, it's already starting to get foamy and fluffy, and what mixing it like this is doing to the cream is adding in air molecules like you do when you make a meringue with egg whites, except for this is heavy cream instead. So you get that creamy texture, and then we'll put sugar in it to sweeten it up. If you want to make this by hand, you can, just using a hand mixer instead of a stand mixer. And you can kind of feel it when it starts getting thick. I'm just kind of watching it. I can see that it is getting thicker, because it leaves little curly-Q, like little slashy looking things where the mixer wand went through it. And so you can see it's getting poofier. So it's almost ready for me to start adding my sugar in. Looks like it is ready. I'm gonna back it down one, and I'm just gonna add my sugar a little bit at a time, like I do with meringue. And I'm adding 3/4 of a cup of sugar to my 1.5 cups of whipping cream. That's all there is to it. So now, take it off of here. And it'll be a little bit before I'm ready to put it on my pies. So I'm going to put it into another bowl and just put it in the refrigerator to stay cold until I'm ready to put it on my pies. To me, it just tastes better than Cool Whip. I mean, Cool Whip tastes fine. I just like whipping cream more. Just gonna cover it with saran wrap and put it in the refrigerator for a couple minutes. And then we're gonna fill our pie shells. I don't want to put my whipping cream topping on until the pies have chilled down, because it is made with heavy cream and I don't want it to melt because the pie filling is still a little bit warm. And that would be the same situation if you were using Cool Whip also. All right, so now we're gonna pour our cherry, pineapple, strawberry jello mixture into our baked crusts over the top of our bananas. It's the perfect amount for two. So if you don't want to, think about maybe sharing one, or you can half the recipe and try to save the other half of your cherry can or your pineapple can for later. So now, gotta let it chill down. So I'm gonna let it sit here and cool for a few more minutes before I stick it in the refrigerator, just because if you don't, it can make your refrigerator temperature drop a little, go up a little bit from the heat. It's a lot more cooled down than it was, but I want it just a little bit cooler. So we'll be back later when we're ready to put our whipping cream on top. All right, y'all, our pies have been in the refrigerator for about an hour, and so they've cooled down enough to where it's okay to go ahead and put the whipping cream on the top, but then they'll still need to chill for another hour and a half, 2 hours before they're completely set. You can still see they have a little wobble to them, but they're cool enough now it's not going to melt the whipping cream. So we're just going to take it and put it on, dollop it all around. And then just spread it over the top. It doesn't matter if you get a little bit of the juice on it. It's all gonna chill and settle, and it'll set. And if you wanted to, you can sprinkle chopped pecans on the top. If you want that little extra bit of crunch and texture. I'm just going to leave it with the whipping cream. It doesn't have to be a thick layer. And then I'll just cover this back up and put it back in the fridge and let it chill the rest of the way. And once it's chilled, we'll have a piece later, but we're not going to show that part. But anyway, this is how you make fruity, sweet, cool, creamy dream pie. It'd be perfect for your picnic that you may have on July 4th coming up this week, for family gatherings, celebrations with friends, whatever, to celebrate the holiday. It's a perfect dessert for something like that. Just make it the day before, bring it to your 4th of July banquet or party, and enjoy a nice cool dessert for summer. It's really easy to make. I appreciate you guys watching. Give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment below. Hit that subscribe button. You can go back and watch my other videos. I would greatly appreciate it. We'll see y'all next time in Nini's Texas Kitchen.